Texas State Rep Chris Turner. He is the Texas House Democratic Caucus chairman. This was really your idea. Tell us about this. What did you say to Democrats as you told them about this plan to walk out?
Well, good morning, Brianna. Thank you for having me. Look, Democrats in the House and the Senate in Texas have been working all session long to kill these Republican vote suppression measures, and Senate Bill 7 was the worst of the worst. And so we were determined to kill this bill in any way we could. We had a midnight deadline yesterday to pass all bills. Any bills that don't pass by midnight yesterday effectively die. And so we were determined to either kill it by talking on the bill to prevent a vote from coming up, killing it through a procedural maneuver, and as a last resort, leaving the chamber to deny the necessary quorum. We are required to have 100 members on the House floor of a 150-member House. And so when it became clear that Republicans were going to resort to an extreme tactic to shut off debate, even though we were still fighting the bill, and they were going to force a vote on it prematurely, that forced our hand, and that's what led to the walkout that you saw about 10:30, 10:40 last night.
So, I mean, look, certainly a tactical victory, and you did bring a lot of awareness to what is going on in Texas with these voting provisions that Republicans are trying to enact. But long term, the governor says there's going to be a special session. This is going to be revisited, and we would think, pass. So, what do you think about this? This is not the end of this bill.
You're right. It's likely not the end. Only the governor can decide what's going to happen next. As you say, he has the sole authority to call a special session and the sole authority to determine the agenda of any special sessions. So the ball is certainly in the governor's court. What I hope the governor will do is say, you know what, this fever that is gripping the Republican Party across the nation, that is founded upon the big lie that somehow Donald Trump actually won an election that we all know that he lost, and the subsequent Republican efforts to pass these voting measures are all based on the big lie of voter fraud. And some Republican leader in this country is going to have to say, you know what, enough is enough. This is nonsense. This is based on a lie, and we're going to stop talking about it. We're going to stop trying to pass vote suppression measures based upon a lie. And clearly the governors in other states have been unable to do that. Maybe Governor Abbott will reach that realization here in Texas. But if he doesn't, and he calls a special session to pass vote suppression legislation, we're going to fight him every step of the way. We're going to fight Republicans every step of the way. And we're going to do whatever it takes to continue to stop, slow down, and mitigate this legislation.
Representative, some experts on voting rights and civil rights say that the assault on voting rights going on in many states right now is a 5-alarm fire, and they're not sure the government is doing enough federally. Do you think the Biden administration is treating this seriously enough?
I think President Biden and Vice President Harris are absolutely treating this very seriously, and I thank them for that. I thank them for their support of our efforts to stop this bill here in Texas. What I would say to our colleagues in Congress is we need Congress to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and H.R. 1. In fact, myself and other legislative leaders here in Texas a couple months ago sent a letter to our congressional delegation urging them to please pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We need Texas voters need protections from the federal government against these efforts to suppress the vote, whether that's through laws like we stopped yesterday or through discriminatory redistricting maps, which Texas has a long, shameful history of. We need a strong Voting Rights Act with a good, robust pre-clearance provision that will protect the voters of Texas and all voters across the country. So I urge the Congress to please pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act immediately. We need that here in Texas and across the country.
Sir, thank you for being with us this morning. Texas Representative Chris Turner.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.